up, pips? Right, this is going to be the first one in a new series of what's in the shed, or more what customs in the shed. So, as you can see, Ford Aeromax. It pretty much is a Ford Aeromax. Sleeper cut off, roof changed, box put on the back. Simple as that. Story come about, truck come about. I bought years and years and years ago, it seems like it, quite a while ago, I bought a ex-shop demonstration Aeromax and fuel tanker that had been abused. A lot of damage, quite a bit of damage. Tanker was all scratched, there was dents in both sides. This had a broken bumper, there was broken, I think there was a crack in the top, but quite a bit of it broke. It had been abused basically, it had been used in a shop to demonstrate. It had a silver cam motor in it, so it had been rolled quite a few times by the look of it. And I bought it off of someone I know, I'm not going to name names, but I bought it off of someone. I knew exactly what I was getting. He told me, he showed me pictures, he told me exactly what it was like. So I wasn't shocked, I wasn't surprised, I knew it wasn't a runner, if you like. And it had an MFC in it, so I thought it was a cheapish. I can't remember the exact price. I think I paid something like about 350, 400, something like that, for an Aeromax with an MFC 01 and a fuel tanker trailer with electric legs and lights. So basically it was just for spares. I was just going to strip it down and use it for spares. Well, I did. I completely stripped it. The fuel tanker, I always wanted to do a proper, like a European fuel tanker, but something in me wouldn't let me paint a Tamiya tanker because of that lovely chrome and the shine, and I thought that's just sacrilege to paint over that and ruin it. Looks too nice. And I already had one. So I bashed the dents out from the inside, sanded it all so it was all lovely and smooth again, and obviously sanding it roughed it up. So the ideal thing was to paint it, which I did, and it became a trailer that's sitting behind me somewhere up there. The SO fuel tanker, you might have seen it. I think the last video I done of it, the little low roof white Scania was pulling it, which is what I usually stick in front of it. But that's another story. Let's get back to this. So the cab come off of this and it went in, you know, there's a shed over in the corner of the garden, it's just full of spare parts, boxes, old bodies, all sorts of crap. I don't like throwing stuff away because you never know when you'll need something. So it went in there. The chassis, pretty much the whole running chassis, I took the body off and I put a Volvo cab on it, which I made into the SO fuel tanker, the working one that you can pump water in and out the back, which Tim Thurston made the back for me. He made the tank, I made all the lorry and everything, got it all going. Funny enough, it's the only chassis I've ever seen that's actually got Aeromax stamped on to the chassis rails. And I'm actually looking at it because it's sitting right there. I've never seen another Tamiya that's got the name stamped into the rails. If I have, I've never noticed. That one I can see every day looking at it. So that was the chassis used, and then the body just sat in the shed for years and years and years. Not sure exactly how long, but it's got to be 7-8 years, maybe 10. It's a long time ago. And I was bored. I had nothing to do. I had a couple of old chassis rails laying around and some axles, and I thought, oh, let's make a lorry. What can I make out of stuff I've got? So I tried to do it. I didn't want to spend a penny. It was literally, what can I make with whatever I have here, and spend as little as I can get away with. So I dug everything out, cleaned it all up, cut the back off, filled it in. The only bit I had to buy was the bumper, because the other one was, I think half of it was missing. I'm pretty sure it was broke. From there off was missing. This is what I come with the original one. The cab is. This box is just, I had some aluminium sheet in the shed, and if you can't see it, not clearly from there, but if you look at it, it basically is just bent into a big U shape. Then I was going to fart around and having it opening and all that, and in the end I couldn't be arsed, because I thought it's just something that I'm throwing together with, let's call it junk. It's not junk, but you know what I mean. Stuff laying around that just wasn't getting used. Admittedly, some of it would have, the axles would have, the gearbox would have, but anyway. So that all went on. I made all the stickers myself, all the vinyls. Why it become that, I can't remember, if I'm really honest. I think I just ride a truck. There's one just down the road here. I know our ones are yellow, I think. Or it used to be yellow. But being an American cab, I thought, and I googled it, and there's a white, so that become the livery. There's basically a wooden floor up in there, which ain't really doing much. It just secures it to the axle. The back was open. I mean, this is all just screwed in, because I didn't have any other way of doing it at the time, or couldn't really be bothered to do it any other way at the time. The back was open, so I had another bit of a brainwave at the back. I'm not sure. Yeah, you should be able to see that. So there's a tail lift on it. Well, it's basically just a couple of U-channel, bit of solid steel across the bottom, just to strengthen it all up. It acts like a bumper, and that is literally just a flat bit of aluminium that slides in. It's a bit of a cheat, because it really, all it does is just hides the piss poor job I done on the back, because I just shoved a bit of alley on the back and thought, again, vinyl looks like doors with a tail lift on it. It does the job. And that is pretty much the story of this truck. I did want to get, I see on Facebook, not Facebook, I saw on eBay some, I don't know what they're called, American wheels, like the 5-star, 5-spoke wheels, which I wanted to get a set. And someone said they would make me a set, but it never happened for some reason, for one reason or another, for whatever, I don't know. But I didn't get them, and I keep meaning to buy them, but the way my brain is, if I'm not doing something at that time, I forget. And I keep forgetting, and then every time I see this I think, oh, I need to buy them wheels, and then I forget, and then then I need to buy the wheels, then I forget, and so hence why they've still got the chrome on. But one day I'll get round to changing it. I mean, the only bit that, to me, that looks out of place is you've got the steps on the back of the skirt here where they would get up onto the crosswalk, catwalk is it called? Whatever, behind the cab. Which I do believe is both sides. Oh no, it's just one side. But I really couldn't be asked to just cut it off and fill it in, and I just leave it. It doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, it's your problem, it's not mine. And that's pretty much it, really. That is why this is this, why it come about. Because I was bored one day and decided just to see what I had laying around and make something. Underneath it's a standard Tamiya axle. That bit there is my battery holder, because obviously there's no access to nothing. I could have put a proper battery across, but it's a bit, so it does the job. Battery goes in there, in here, this side bit here, and this swings round and holds the battery. It's as simple as that. The speed controller's just in front of it, so it plugs straight in. There's nothing fancy, there's no major electrics or nothing in it. It's a standard speed controller. It's got a 80 turn motor, which most of mine have. That's it really. There's two servos up the front because it's American and that's where they are. It's, so chassis wise it's pretty much standard. So I've put some wood under here just to fill it in the gaps and everything, but it does the job. It looks the part. I think there's a few bits still missing. There's no wiper blades because obviously they was broke on the original one, and like I said, I didn't want to spend a lot of money. I spent as minimum as I could. Someone was selling a bumper on its own cheap, which was ideal for me. All the lenses are the original lenses from the original truck, including the two at the bottom, which was on the original. The windows are from the original one I bought, the lights on the top. It pretty much all is. So I know I'm not saying this is what I originally bought and I've turned it into this, because the only thing on here from what I originally bought as spares is the cab and the side skirts. The idea of this video is that's why this lorry was built, because I had this cab. I had it laying around for ages and I kept thinking to myself for a long time, probably a couple of years, I want to do a day cab, an Aeromax day cab. I've seen a couple done before. I'm not saying I'm the only one who's ever done it or the first to do it. I have seen a few and they look really nice, so I thought I want to do one. I was going to put a fifth wheel on the back and just have it, but I thought no. Unlike our American cousins, I think it's too long to do that. You don't need as big a gap as the trailer is behind the cab to what the trailer is to the trailer, if you know what I mean. In America you get away with it. Long roads, straight roads, very wide roads. Try driving around England, you got no chance. And like I say, it became what it is, and I quite like it. For something that was just to kill some time, and if I remember rightly, my layout, obviously I've paid more money because I've had to buy all the stuff in the first place, but I think all of that come off of a donor as well. None of it's new. It all come off of, if I find a cheap truck, I'll buy it no matter what the condition for spares. Occasionally, well, I say occasionally, I think 2 of them, I've probably bought 7 or 8 that have been in bad condition, just literally bought them for the spares, for mainly the axles, the gearbox, that sort of stuff. But on 2 of them, I actually thought, oh, there's a challenge, see if I can actually make this into a good truck. One of which is a Volvo FH12, and I did have to spend some money on it, because if I remember rightly on that, I had to buy a roof, but just a roof. Cab was alright. Side skirts I've got bloody loads of side skirts in there for Volvos. But the roof was damaged. I think there was a crack in it or an hole in it. So I had to replace the roof. But that was it. So I made it good, sanded it all down, scraped get all the paint off, repainted it, and built it back up as just a bolt standard FH12. And then there's a night hauler, which is, you can't see, but it's up there. Again, I bought that for spares. I drove it just outside the shed here, and half a dozen screws fell out, because whoever built it shouldn't be allowed near a screwdriver at all, ever. They put self-tapping plastic screws into a threaded hole, obviously stripped all the thread. Half the screws was either in the wrong holes or missing, and where they'd cocked it up, they then epoxied nuts onto the back of the chassis so they could put the screw through into the nut, and it was a nightmare. So again, pretty sure for that, the only thing I bought for it was 2 new chassis rails. The rest of it I made good. It's completely altered. It's not like a normal king hauler, because a lot of it I threw away. The exhausts have been moved around the back there. I think they're globe liner, or no, I think they're off of this actually. I think they're the exhausts off of this. Go up the back of the cab. Yeah. No, they're on the Volvo, but I think it's the same exhaust. Whatever, they're around the back of the cab anyway. Yeah, that's a story for another day, because I'm starting to waffle now. So that's this. That's the story behind this. If you like this video, I'll do some more on the other custom ones in here, like the fuel tanker, Agro. There's a Scania there, there's a Mercedes there, they're all custom built. There's quite a few in here actually. I do have a few custom built ones. So let me know. Custom built, yeah, I'm doing a thing on my Facebook group at the moment. Don't know how many of you are in my Facebook group, but people don't realise, I think people don't know the difference between what a custom is and just because I've painted it different, therefore it must be custom. Right, so that's that one.